Dola. Dola is often translated as fate or destiny, but this can be misleading. In Slavic tradition, Dola is better understood as a person's inherent portion or share. A unique set of personality traits, temperament, skills, abilities, and talents bestowed at birth, frequently associated with the weaving of the Rojnicy, the Slavic deities of fate who determine a newborn's path. A classic illustrative example from folklore and ethnographic interpretations demonstrates how Dola operates. Imagine a merchant whose Dola aligns with that of a farmer. Despite tireless effort in trade, commerce, or any non-agricultural endeavor, success continually slips away. The mismatch arises because the qualities essential for a thriving merchant, quick adaptability, social acumen, intuitive risk-taking, stand in stark contrast to those suited to a farmer. Patient endurance, steady rhythm, and deep attunement to the land and natural cycles. This shows that Dola does not dictate fixed life events such as lifespan, marriage partner, number of children, or general life quality, but rather shapes the inner disposition and natural aptitudes that enable fulfillment and achievement in certain paths or career fields. Dola, a good share, fosters harmony and prosperity when one lives in alignment with these innate gifts. It is not a rigid, unchangeable script, but a blueprint of strengths and inclinations to discover, honor, and cultivate. The opposite of Dola is Nidola or Nedola, which is a bad share that brings only frustration, obstacles, and misfortune. It is also conceivable to exist without any Dola or Nidola, lacking a defined blueprint, inner direction, or natural gifts, leaving one feeling adrift, alone with oneself, without inherent guidance or predisposed talents to fulfill. In such a state, life becomes a search for meaning through conscious effort and self-creation, rather than alignment with an assigned portion. The purpose. Any Slavic pagan should strive to discover and align fully with own Dola, to live in deep sync with this innate portion of traits, talents, and temperament. When one is attuned to one's Dola, life opens to the greatest opportunities for growth, success, and prosperity, both spiritual and material. This harmony creates an optimal environment for building a strong family, nurturing the next generations, and securing a lasting legacy. In turn, this alignment empowers the Slavic pagan to fulfill the ultimate goal of Slavic pagan path: to become a venerated ancestor oneself. By living purposefully, prospering through one's natural gifts, and laying solid foundations for descendants, one ensures that future generations will honor and remember them, just as we honor those who came before. Being in sync with Dola is not merely beneficial, it is the key to becoming a better, more complete Slavic pagan, one whose life ripples forward through time as a source of strength and continuity for the kin. How to start? Begin with an honest and critical self-examination of your life so far. Reflect deeply. How have things unfolded for you? Have you successfully brought your plans to fruition, or do they consistently falter despite your best efforts? Have events beyond your control, unexpected turns, opportunities, or setbacks, tended to go in a particular direction? View your life not as a random collection of isolated incidents, but as a coherent story with patterns and themes. Pay special attention to outcomes that surprised you positively. Have bad situations unexpectedly resolved well, leading to growth or better circumstances? If so, this could be your Dola subtly guiding you toward paths that align with her inherent strengths, even if they differ from your conscious plans or desires. Ask yourself, is this the direction you truly want? Does it feel natural, like an inclination you've always had deep down? Or is it a path you firmly resist and wish to reject? If the mismatch feels profound and persistent, you may want to consider realigning or changing your Dola. In Slavic traditions and modern Rodnovery practice, this often involves seeking a more compatible share, such as one resonant with an ancestor's life path. The best place to look is always among your ancestors. Folklore records instances where Dola could be inherited or passed down, for example, from parent to child, but taking a living parent's Dola would mean diminishing theirs, which is rarely ideal or sustainable long-term. Instead, turn to earlier forebears. Their Dolas are more accessible through memory, stories, and spiritual connection. Learn about your ancestors, their lives, choices, struggles, and triumphs. Identify one whose path resonates deeply with you. Reflect on the decisions they made and the prices they paid, hardships endured, sacrifices offered, trade-offs accepted. Are you willing and able to pay a similar price? Do you believe the rewards, the harmony, success, and sense of rightness are worth it? This process of reflection and ancestral exploration is the foundation for aligning with or shifting toward a dola that supports your authentic growth. It requires honesty, patience, and openness, but it can transform frustration into purposeful direction. How to continue? Once you have begun to recognize and align with your dola, the practice becomes an ongoing relationship rather than a one-time discovery. Make it a habit to check in with her regularly, perhaps daily in quiet moments, weekly during a dedicated reflection, or whenever life feels uncertain or shifting. Approach these check-ins with gentleness and patience. Avoid jumping to harsh conclusions about yourself or your path. Sometimes the direction dola guides you toward is challenging, winding, and full of hardships, obstacles that test endurance, force growth, or reveal hidden strengths. These difficulties do not mean you are off track or that your dola has abandoned you. On the contrary, they may be precisely the terrain needed to bring the fullest expression of your gifts and the deepest rewards. Trust the long arc. If the overall story of your life continues to feel resonant, the payoff, fulfillment, resilience, prosperity is often worth every trial along the way. Equally vital. Cultivate a daily or frequent habit of expressing gratitude to your dola. She is not a distant force, but a companion who walks with you, lending her influence when you honor the connection. Whenever things go well, especially when events unexpectedly align in your favor, opportunities open effortlessly, or obstacles dissolve, pause and acknowledge her role. Speak your thanks aloud if you can. Thank you, dola, for this guidance and good fortune. Offer a small symbolic gesture, a drop of honey, a lit candle, a moment of silence, or simply hold deep appreciation in your heart. By consistently showing gratitude, you strengthen the bond. You invite dola to remain close, to continue offering her support, and to amplify the harmony between your innate portion and the life you live. This reciprocal relationship, reflection paired with thankfulness, keeps the connection vibrant, helping you navigate both the smooth stretches and the difficult ones with greater trust, clarity, and grace. Ritual for yourself. Slavic folklore has preserved the tradition of sitting down to a meal with your dola in an effort to persuade her to align more closely with your goals. This dinner does not need to be as festive or ceremonial as one shared with ancestors. What matters is that you prepare tasty, appealing food and set an extra place at the table for your dola. It is usually best to hold this meal in private, as you will likely be sharing thoughts and desires you prefer to keep between the two of you. While dining with your dola, be completely honest, open, and vulnerable. Allow yourself to speak aloud the things you wish were different, the parts of yourself you cannot change on your own, and therefore ask her to adjust within her portion. Explain clearly why she should consider making that effort. Paint a vivid picture of the future you hope to build together and invite her to share in it. For your children. Slavic folklore preserves the widespread belief that in the first days after a child's birth, usually within the first 3 days, though in some regions up to 7, the rajanici come to spin the child's dola, or, in unfortunate cases, nidola. To ensure the rajanici spin a favorable dola, they must be received with proper respect and hospitality. Traditionally, this means offering them food, such as bread, salt, beer, mead, milk, or other simple, nourishing items, and often small material gifts like coins or other tokens. The home should be kept peaceful, quiet, and welcoming, free from noise, arguments, or haste, so the rajanici feel honored and unhurried. In modern times, when most births take place in hospitals, creating this ideal environment is challenging. If you are fortunate enough to be home with your newborn by the 2nd or 3rd day, take care to establish a calm, respectful atmosphere. Place a small offering of food on a table near the baby's crib, bread with salt, a cup of milk or mead, etc. Keep the space quiet and serene, and speak your wishes aloud to the rajanici. Clearly and thoughtfully express what kind of dola you hope they spin for your child. Remember that dola is not about predetermined events such as lifespan, spouse, or number of children. It concerns the child's innate share of human traits, temperament, talents, and abilities, the inner blueprint that shapes how they will engage with life and find fulfillment in their chosen paths. Choose your words with care. The Rajanitzzi are not obligated to heed your requests, but if they feel respected and inclined, they may take your hopes into account when spinning the thread.